Hey everybody, Mark Stiles down here at Studio B at 892, once again with friend and real estate extraordinaire, Emmanuel Ebot. Emmanuel, thanks for coming, buddy.
Well, thanks for having me again.
Hey, so Emmanuel represents a lot of builders, developers, and what some might call flippers. Real estate rehabilitation types, recyclers, whatever you want to call them. But in that practice, we get the same question over and over again from some of those folks, and that's, do I really need to pull a building permit? And what do you say to that? At what point do you need to pull a building permit, Emmanuel?
Well, the short answer is yes, you should. And the general rule of thumb is if you're doing any work that's not cosmetic in nature, you're generally going to need to pull a permit. I would always advise folks to check with their building department before they commence any type of work just to see if it's going to require a permit. But if you're painting your house, you may not need a permit, but any non-cosmetic work is probably going to need a permit pulled.
Okay, so some of the clients, they need speed, they need efficiency, they're running on a thin margin, and they're saying, hey, why would I go through the cost, the expense, and the aggravation of dealing with a government bureaucracy if I can just get this done, in and out, and sold? So question number one, what's the cost associated with doing and with pulling a permit properly?
So, and that's generally depending on the municipality, but for most towns and cities, the cost of a permit is based on the estimated cost of the construction. So when you're pulling the permit, you would submit an invoice from the contractor showing what the cost of construction is going to be, and the price of the permit is just a small fraction of that. So it's not, the price is usually not an impediment to pulling the permit, but that's the procedure that's taken place.
So who's responsible for pulling the permit then?
That's a good question. So it's either the homeowner or the contractor that you've hired. And who pulls the permit usually depends on the relationship that you have with the contractor and the homeowner, or some towns require, depending on the type of work, that the contractor or the homeowner pull the permit.
Okay, so let's assume, for the sake of this video, for our audience, that a person decides that it's just too much of an aggravation, although a nominal cost, it's a cost that they don't want to incur, and they don't pull a permit. What could happen?
Very bad things. When it's discovered that you've conducted work that required a permit and that you haven't pulled a permit, a town has broad powers to fine you, to issue a cease and desist if the work is still ongoing.
What does that mean, a cease and desist?
So if you were remodeling your kitchen or your bathroom or adding a deck, they can put a stop work order and require that no work can be done until they come in and re-inspect, and you essentially have to start over again.
So that speed and efficiency that they were trying to gain by not pulling the permit would actually blow up in their face.
Exactly. And in addition to that are the fines and levies that you are now incurring because you didn't follow the proper procedure in pulling the permit.
And how would that be found out?
That's a good question. A lot of folks think that, if I'm not publicizing it and I can do the work, no one's ever going to know. The most common ways that the towns find out is with building inspectors are actually out there inspecting properties. And if they see a construction site that they know they haven't pulled a permit for, they have the right to go up to that homeowner and ask to see a permit. Another way is, every year you get your tax bill, there's a valuation that takes place with an assessor coming out to see your house. And if they notice that there has been a big increase in the value without any permits pulled, that's a good indicator to them that work had been done without a permit. And finally, especially for you folks who are looking to sell property, when a buyer is conducting their home inspection and they see a new kitchen, a buyer who's doing their due diligence is going to check to see if a permit's been pulled. And if they haven't, that's another way that the town finds out.
And worst case scenario, something bad happens, like a fire, and then the insurance company goes and says, where's the permit for the new electrical?
That's exactly right. So there's just a litany of bad things that can happen if you just don't do it the right way and pull a permit from the beginning.
So if someone were to come to you as counsel and say, Emmanuel, I'm going to do a rehab on this home, should I pull a permit? What's your answer?
Absolutely.
All right, folks. Hey, I hope this was informative for you. If it was, please subscribe to our page below. As well, share it with everybody and anybody. Thanks so much for watching. See you soon.